about Grandmaster Steve Sanders? This old man and Big Moore. You know about Big Moore? These are black, like, they thought about the era of Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, Bruce Lee couldn't touch Big Moore. They had there's a shot of Bruce Lee, and there's a black guy standing in front of him, and he jumps forward, and he does this, and everybody cheers, and they act like it's something. And Big Moore explains how that was a sneak shot, because there was a test. He was like, Big Moore, his nickname was the man who beat them all, because he beat everybody. And Bruce Lee was standing in front of him. He was like, I'm so fast, I'll bet you can't, block me dead. He said, all right, well, let's see. And he threw 2 punches each time to make more block. So he started, he kind of like I think he chuckled or he looked away for a minute, and when he looked away and looked back, that's when the camera caught him. And then he did his little leap forward, and everybody, oh my God. And it was like, you should see some of Steve Sanders' training videos. Like,
You gonna kill that out? Shalom Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatham. Yahweh Shem Alatham Bashem Yahweh Shai. I'm Priest Officer Parag holding down the high holy day for the Lord, right? High holy day. This is the Day of Atonement. All right. Just to give you a quick, recap. If you could give me the definition of atone, ATONE. All right. Today is a special day, and it's not a special day for the Lord. It's a special day for us. Like, we don't deserve to have a day like this. Like, this is a day that only the Lord would allow a people like us. You get what I'm saying? Because of the constant rebellion that we give to the Most High, and how we constantly disobey the Most High God. I wouldn't expect this from the Most High God, but He gave it to us anyway. He's given us a chance to get right with Him when we don't deserve that chance, right? Give me the definition of atone.
Atone, make amends or reparation.
To make what?
Make amends or reparation.
Reparation. So, right, like repayment, right? So, like, for instance, right, what does it mean if you getting paid back for something?
That's a lot of answer. It means that something happened to you first.
Something happened to you, and so what happens?
You have to pay it back.
You pay it back. So, like, for instance, right, what we've done to the Most High is absolutely devious. You get what I'm saying? The Most High promised us the promised land. He promised us the land of Israel. He promised us rulership over all the kingdoms of the earth. He promised us everything. He promised us the entire earth. Like 2 Ezra, the 6th chapter says that the Most High created the earth for our sake, for Israel's sake, right? But what do we do with that? We put that in the garbage, man. And we was like, you know what? I want to serve, I want to serve Nimrod. I want to serve a Canaanite god. I want to serve Dagon, a Moabite god. I want to serve the Babylonians. I want to serve everything other than the Most High, right? And so because we've done that, now we have to pay for what we've done. And that's what we're doing here today. What we're doing here today on the Day of Atonement is we are repaying the Most High for all of the weed that we smoked that He told us not to smoke, for all of the whoredom that we committed that He told us not to commit. You get what I'm saying? For all of the evil that we've done that the Most High told us that we could not do. Most of us, if we black and Hispanic here, we grew up eating pork. Pork is a thing with all of us. You get what I'm saying? For the so-called Hispanics, y'all eat chorizo. That's like a big thing. You get what I'm saying? Y'all eat that chorizo and love it. And every morning, I remember, I've been around so many Hispanics my whole entire life. I remember seeing chorizo every morning. Chorizo and eggs. That was the thing. Might have some carne on the side. You get what I'm saying? But point being is, it's always something unlawful involved in our meals. Now you come over to a nigga house, you come over to a black house, it's the same thing. Ham hocks, pig feet, chitlins. That's gross. I never ate that. It's like it. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point. All of those things that we've been doing our entire lives are the things that the Most High told us not to do. So now we have to atone for those things. We have to pay for those things. And today is a day that all able-bodied men and women of Israel are to fast, meaning go without the thing that is a necessity for you to live. We need water to live. We need food to live. Those are necessities. We're gonna go without those things for 24 hours. And we're gonna do that because we owe it to the Most High. You got to think about it like that. We owe this to the Most High. So now tonight, everybody might be in high spirits. It's tonight. We just had our last drink of water, 30 minutes ago? That's cool and all. Wait till tomorrow morning. When you wake up and normally you get a big old 32-ounce jug of water and drink that or eat breakfast. We're not going to do that tomorrow. Why? Not because we want to hurt ourselves, but because we need to atone for all of the evil that we've done unto the Most High. Like, that's the spirit behind today. And the Lord's done it for us. Now, if we can't suffer for the Lord, why the hell did the Lord suffer for us? The Lord suffered for us. You get what I'm saying? The Lord went through so much for us. He went through battling in his own mind. The Lord has a mind of his own, and he battled in his own mind whether or not to destroy us. You get what I'm saying? He battled in his own mind whether or not to kill us off of the face of this planet because of our disservice to him. You can suffice, 24 hours of, not being able to eat or drink. It's nothing. Vegans do it all of the time. Vegans go, they do those 24-hour dry fast all of the time. It's nothing to them. And they don't even serve God, some of them, right? Point being is, if the Most High can do it for you, then you can do it for him. All right, so without further ado, right, we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be just to give you kind of a to kind of tell you exactly how this class is going to go. It's going to be a Sabbath service. Same thing that you see every Saturday. It'll be a Sabbath service. We'll read the entire chapter, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter with all of the holy days. And then after we finish that, we'll move on to breaking down the Day of Atonement. Get y'all some precepts so you can have them for your precept books, this, and the third. All right. Just me up here. I'm going to stand. Imagine everybody else, which means to stand. Panyagudam, which means to face the east. We're going to go ahead and begin with the Lord's Prayer. We're going to say these prayers, starting with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwithka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Kayawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawawathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abal, Hawashai now, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wathapara, La'aiwalamya, Aman. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. We're going to read the Hakak, the power, in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Babakushai, Nathalanawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Call, Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lakwayam, Hamathium, Hakak, Arakawa, Hatama'ala, Lagarshan, Bashem Yahushai, Tawadaman. In the English, the power. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please give us the power. The power to heal all manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you, so be it. Psalms the 121st chapter. In the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Haharyam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izarya, Ma'ain, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Sham Slaki, Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha Allah,
Yasha Allah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yamyanka,
Yamyanka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'a,
La'a,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayarak,
Balayala,
Bayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makalrai,
Makalra,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Athnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'afka,
Waba,
Waba,
Wa'aka,
Wa'aka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'id,
Wa'ai,
Awalam.
Awalam.
Psalms the 121st chapter in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up mine eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He slumber.
He that keepeth, he will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasha Allah
he that keepeth Yasha
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee
the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
Psalms the 83rd chapter, beginning in the Hebrew. Alahayo,
Allahayah,
Aldama Yalaka,
Aldama Yalaka,
Al Thakaraj,
Al Bakarat,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Wa Al Tashakwat,
All,
Wa
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awa Yabika,
Our Yabdika,
Yahamaya 1,
Yahamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Imaka,
Al Amuka,
Ya'ara Yamwa,
Ya'ira Yamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Ya'aitazawa,
Ya'itazaw,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al Tazapa Winyaka,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakidam,
Manakakidam,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Wala'ab,
Wala'a,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha Allah,
Sham Yasha Allah,
Iwada,
Iwada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawaitazawa,
Nawaitazaw,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakadwa,
Alyaka,
Alyaka,
Baryath,
Arya,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarazwa,
Ahalya,
Ahalya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashamai Alayam,
Wayashama Aliyam,
Mawa Abba,
Mawa Abba,
Wahagaryam,
Wahagari,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'ima 1,
Wa'ima 1,
Wa'ima Lot,
Wa'ima Lot,
Palashat,
Palashat,
I'm your Shabya,
I'm your subject,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Gamashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarwai,
Zarwai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawa,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayabyan,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Ba'ayan,
Ba'ayan,
Da'ara,
Da'ara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yabmawa,
Yabmawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira,
Wakazabat, Slaki, Wakaza'aba,
Wakaza Abba,
Wakazabat,
Wakazabak,
Wakatazal,
Wakatazal,
Mana'ai,
Mana'ai,
Call,
Call,
Nasaya,
Nasaya,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nayarashah,
Nayarashah,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Ath, Na'awat,
Na'awat,
Allahayam,
Allahayah,
Alaya,
Allahayah,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Kagalgala,
Kagogakwash,
Lapanya,
Lapanya,
Raka,
Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Saba'ira, Ira,
Ira,
Wakalaba,
Wakalaba,
Thalahat,
Talahat,
Harayam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharat Slaki, Tharadatma,
Tharadakma,
Basa Irika,
Basa Irika,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapaska,
Thabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'a,
Mala'a,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kuala 1,
Kalawan,
Waya,
Waya,
Bakwashwa,
Bakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Bahawa,
Bahawa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Waya,
Waya,
Kaparwa,
Kaparwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abadwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Da'aiwa,
Da'aiwa,
Kaya'atha,
Kaya Atha,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al Yawan,
All you want,
Ka'al Slaki, Al Kal,
I'll call,
Ha'aratiza.
Ha'aratiza.
All right, Psalms the 83rd chapter in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come.
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
And let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Yashar'Allah
That the name of Yashar'Allah
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee,
the tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Agarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of
At
Kasan,
the brook of Kasan.
which perished that endured.
Which perished that endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a ram,
Make their nobles like a red.
and like Zair.
And like Zaeb.
Yea,
Yea.
all their princes as Zabah,
All their princes as Zabah.
and as
And
Amunah,
as Almunah.
who said,
Who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to ourselves
the houses of Yahweh
the houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stumble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded and troubled forever.
let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth.
are the most high over all the earth.
We're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
wa Yahushai,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Allahayim,
wa Allahayim,
Matzazab Ya'ah,
Matazab Ya'ah,
Allah wap Yahana,
Allah wap Yahana,
ha Allah wap Yah,
ha Allah wap Yah,
ha Saranyam,
ha Saranyam,
ha Kwatazayanyam,
ha Kwatazayanyam,
ha Kaya Yoyam,
ha Kaya Yoyam,
wa ha Akwatyan,
wa ha Akwasyan,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
wa Shem Yahushai,
ha Shem Yahushai,
what our month.
so what our month.
In the English, the blessings. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahushai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
Commanding General Yohanan,
Commanding General Yohanan,
the generals,
the general,
the captains,
the captain,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sister,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahushai,
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shaving, we can be seated. Yeah, you got it. All right, so what we're going to do, once again, like I said, we'll be reading Leviticus, the 23rd chapter in the Hebrew, alternating back and forth every 7 verses. So 7 verses in the Hebrew, 7 verses, those same 7 verses in the English. All right, so once again, we're going to read the first 7 verses in the Hebrew, and then we'll read it in the English. All right, so Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, beginning at verse 1 through 7. Waya debar Yahweh al Mashah la Amar, debar al Banya Yashar Allah, wa Martha Alaham, Mawa'idya Yahweh Ashar, Thakwara wa, Atham, Makwaya, Kodash, Aha, Ham, Mawa'idya, verse 3, Shashath, Yamayam, Ta'isha, Malaka, Wabayawam, Slaki, Hashab Ya'ai, Shabbath 1, Makorah, Kodash, Ashar, Thakwara wa, Atham, Bamawa Idam, verse 5, Bakadash, Harash 1. Slagi. Khan Harash 1. Ba'arabai. Ashar. Lakadash. Bayan. Ha'irabium. Pasak. La Yahweh, verse 6. Wabakamasha. Ashar Yawam. Lakadash Hazaha. Haga. That's like a Kaga. Hamatazawath. That's like Hamatazawath. La Yahweh. Shabaitha. Yamayam. Matazawath. Thakawa, verse 7. Bayawam. Haraash. It's like Haraash. Haraash 1. Makorah. Kodash. Yahya. Lakam Kal. Mala'akta. Ibadha. La'a. Ta'ashawa. All right, so that's verses 1 through 7. That's verses 1 through 7 in the Hebrew. I'm going to read those same verses. You got it up? All right. 23. Yeah, 23. Leviticus 23.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord.
Concerning the feasts of who?
The Lord.
I always like to point this out, okay? These feasts are not the ISUPK's feasts. They're not Barak's feasts. They're not Commanding General Yohana's feasts. These feasts are of the Lord. And we keep them in their seasons, which we'll read in just a second. But these feasts don't belong to us, okay? We don't gather brothers and sisters in here because we want to. We gather brothers and sisters in here for these feast days and for these high holy days for each other, because it's the Lord's feast. You get what I'm saying? Because it's the Lord's high holy day. All right, keep going.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy, convocations.
Mm-hmm.
Even these are my feasts.
Once again, holy convocation, that means a holy gathering. It means a separate gathering. Once again, last week or a week before that, whenever the hell it was, everybody was gathering for Labor Day. You get what I'm saying? When they was gathering for Labor Day, we was out here for the memorial of the blowing of trumpets. You get what I'm saying? It's separate from all else that's going on in the world, right? There's some cats out there right now gathering for somebody's birthday right now, right? We don't gather for nobody's birthday. Birthdays are unlawful. They're pagan. We don't do that, right? So somebody out there, what's today? What's today's date?
15th.
Today is the 15th of September. Somebody's birthday is today, and there's a whole lot of blacks and Hispanics celebrating somebody's birthday today. Well, guess what? We not. We in here. We are in here celebrating the Lord's high holy day, the Day of Atonement. Right? This is what we're supposed to do, because this is a separate feast, right? A separate high holy day. Keep going.
Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest.
Mm-hmm. So that's the number one thing that y'all always want to remember. The first high holy day that's ever mentioned is the Sabbath. Even if you go into Genesis, the 2nd chapter, you'll read that the Most High established the Sabbath day because he rested on the 7th day. And so now when you get into Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, you read that the Most High established that high holy day because the same thing that he did in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. He rested on the 7th day. So we rest on the 7th day. Right? Keep going.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein.
Mm-hmm. And on that Sabbath day, every 7th day of the week, which is every Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, you do no work, right? That's the Sabbath day of the Lord. The word Sabbath in the Hebrew is Shabbat, which means rest, right? And that's a day that you are to do no servile work, right? Keep going.
It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
Mm-hmm. No matter where you are. Some cats say you can't keep the Sabbath because we're in America in our captivity. It says all your dwellings. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in Afghanistan somewhere. You could be in Kuwait. You could be in China, some goddamn where it's a communist society. They got you working on Saturday. If you can get the day off, get the day off, because the Lord said it's the Sabbath of the Lord, right? Keep going.
Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
In their what?
In their seasons.
Once again, I'll say it every time. In their seasons, you cannot celebrate these days whenever you want to. Once again, the Christian church, you know, in the Catholic Church, they do the so-called, they call it communion, but they're basically doing the rituals of the Catholic Passover, right? Every first Sunday of the month. You get what I'm saying? Where they eat the bread, little crackers, and they drink the wine. That's not in their seasons, right? The Lord told you one day out of the year you're supposed to keep the Passover, right? Last year that was April 24th. I think this year it'll be in either April or March, right? But point being is there's a day that you're supposed to keep it because we're all supposed to be on one accord. We can't have a schism in the body where, you know, this cat, he's celebrating the Passover on this day and he's celebrating the Passover on this day. The Lord said that these are to be proclaimed in their seasons. We have to do these things when the Lord told us to do them, not when we feel like doing them, right? Keep going.
Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Right. So, of course, we already went over this, but just to give a quick recap, right? You have the Passover, which is the 14th day of the first month, right? Which just so happened to land in April 24th of last year, or I guess that's still this year, right? Which just so happened to land on April 24th. Just so everybody understands, right? The Gregorian calendar is a lot different than what the Israelites used to go by, right? So, like for instance, the first month of the year in the Gregorian calendar is January, right? January is not the first month of the year. No, the Lord doesn't cause seasons to begin or months or years to begin in the dead middle of the dead of winter. You get what I'm saying? Right. So like when you look at January is the middle of winter, right? Like winter starts the end of November and then spills into like February, right? Something like that, somewhere around those. But the white man causes their years to begin in the dead middle of that, like just literally dead center of the middle of that. That's not when the Lord caused the new year to be, right? The first month of the year is called Abib or Abib or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, right? That's the first month of the year, according to the Most High, right? That first month is in spring, when spring starts. So usually you'll find it end of March or spilling over into like April because we're basing it off of like the Gregorian calendar, right? So when you see these things, right? So like for instance, when is the Passover? Read it again.
What? The 15th day?
The 14th day.
In the 14th day of the first month.
Of the first month. Now, we don't celebrate the Passover January 14th, right? Because the first month is not actually January. The first month is Abib or Abib, which is the beginning of spring, right? So just so everybody can understand that, right? Keep going.
Unto the Lord 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. In the first day ye shall have in holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right. And these are the high holy days of the Most High God, right? We're gonna keep reading about them. If y'all tuned in last week for the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets, it's the same thing. We're gonna go over the same thing again at the very end of this class or the very end of this service. Once we get through the 23rd chapter, we'll break down the Day of Atonement for y'all. All right. So now we'll read verses 8 through 14 in the Hebrew. All right, beginning at verse 8. Yaakor, Batham, Asha, La Yahweh, Mabitha, that's like a Shabitha, Yamayam, Bayawam, Hashab Ya'ai, Makorah, Kodash, Kal, Mala'akath, Ibadha, La'ah, the Aishawa, verse 9, Waya Debar Yahweh al Mashah, La Amar, verse 10, Debar al Banya, Yasha Alu, Wa Amartha, Alaham, Kaya, Taba'wa, Al, Ha'arataza, Ashar, Anya, Nathan, Lakam, Waquatazar thumb, Ath, Quatazayarath. That's like a Quatazayara, Wahaba a thumb, Ath, Imar, Ra'ashiath, Quatazayarakum, all, it's like it all. Hakahan, verse 11, Wahanaya, it's like it. Wahanaya Pa, Ath, Ha'imar, Lapanya, Yahweh, Laratazat, Slaki, Laratazanakath, Slaki, Laratazanakam, Mama Kartha, Hashabath, Yanya, Slaki, Yanya, Panya, Hakahan, verse 12, Wa Aisha Yet Thumb, Bayawam, Hanaya Pakam, Ath, Ha'imar, Kabash, Tamayam, Ban, Shanathawa, La'ila, La Yahweh, verse 13, Wamana Kathwa, Shanya, Ashar, Slaki, Ashar Nayawam, Slaki, Ashar Nayam, Salath, Salaki, Bala Wala, Bashama 1, Ashar La Yahweh, Rayak, Nayaka, Renasaka, Yayan, Rabia Aitha, Hayan, verse 14, Walakam, Wakwal Ya, Wakar, Salaki, Wakar Amal, La'a, Fa'akawa, Itazam, Salaki, Itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Habayakam, Ath, Koraban, Alahayakam, Kakwath, Iwalam, Ladar Thayakam, Bakal, Mashabatikam. That's verses 8 through 14. Read those in the English. Well, when you got it, right?
Book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days.
So for that 7 days that we celebrate the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, right? That entire 7 days, it's an 8-day span, but just for that 7 days, we offer an offering by fire, meaning we cook, right? And we eat in the name of the Most High God. Not for our own selves, but to serve the Most High God on those feast days, or on those days, right? Keep going.
And the 7th day is in holy convocation.
Mm-hmm. So the first day is a holy convocation, meaning we gather together on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and we gather also on the 7th day, which is the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? Keep going.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Yeah, so on those holy convocations, you are to, if you can possibly, get off of work, right? Keep going.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
So now remember, this was the time period that this was, right? We were coming into the land that the Most High promised us, right? He promised us the land of Israel. When we came into that land, remember, it belonged to all types of African heathens, right? All types of them. You had the Canaanites in there, you had the Hittites, the Girgashites, those are all African heathens, right? So we came into their lands that they had already been tilling. They had already been tilling that land. They already had their harvest and all of that, right? We killed all of them, and they killed their kids and killed their puppies and their sheep and all of their livestock and all of that. We killed all of them, right? And then with the first fruits of that land, right, we took it to the Most High, right? We took it to the priest of the Most High, and we offered it to the Most High, because the first fruits are like supposed to be the best, right? But instead of us using them for our own benefit, right, we gave them and we sacrificed them to the Most High. Keep going.
Verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall offer that day when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord.
You got to kill a lamb. Come into that land, you got to kill a lamb, right? And if anybody knows about like the geography of that location, lamb, sheep, like all of the things that you see in the Bible, like donkeys, all of that stuff, is very prevalent in the Middle Eastern, right? In the Middle Eastern areas, right? And so you'd find that a whole lot, right? And so one thing that the Most High required of you when you came into the land was a lamb without blemish, meaning a lamb that was like perfect, like the one that somebody would pay that top dollar for. You had to offer that instead of you offering the one that I ain't gonna get that much money for this one anyway. So I'll shoot this to the Lord. That's not how it's going to work. The Most High told you the one that was going to be worth the most money, right? Keep going.
Verse 13. Mm-hmm. And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil,
mm-hmm.
an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor.
Mm-hmm.
And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of an hin.
Right. So now you're supposed to fry this damn lamb. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what the Lord told you to do. You take that lamb and you fry it up, right? And that's going to be the offering for the Lord, right? The Lord, like, listen, you weren't planning on eating this lamb. You were planning on selling it. You need some money. You need some gold. You need resources because you in this foreign land. It's now yours, but you don't have no money, right? So now you need to begin with trade. Now you need to begin to build an economy, right? But you can't do that if you don't have commodities, right? Which lamb, livestock, cattle, all of that is a commodity. Those are things that you need to be able to start an economy. But you're giving your best. Instead of giving it to the other nations to sell to them, you're giving it to the Lord, right? You're giving it to the Lord. Now you wasn't planning on eating this thing, but now you got to offer it to the Lord, right? That's what the Lord is telling you to do, right? Keep going.
Verse 14. And he shall eat neither bread nor parched corn, and ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God.
Meaning, don't eat anything else until you, like, the Most High always comes first, right? Now, let's stay in the context of what we're talking about here, right? This is talking about when we came into the land after we had spent 40 years in the wilderness, right? This is talking about after 40 years in the wilderness. They say wandering, whatever you want to call it. We was in the middle of nowhere, in tents and booths, right? Setting up, camp spots, right? Where everybody was just camped out together. No actual, it was structure, but no buildings. We didn't have time to make buildings. Everything was just on the go situation. So after 40 years of that, the Most High said, now you're going to come into this land where there's going to be structure. You can build the city here. There's already going to be a city built here. You just have to build on top of it because the heathens built it, right? So now, because that's the case, you're going to come into a place where you're now going to have structure and you're going to have the opportunity to live good. But before you live good, give me what I deserve for getting you to this place. Because without me, you'd have been a slave in Egypt still, right? So he said, listen, before you eat the bread of the land, right? Before you eat the parched corn, nor the green ears, right? The beautiful things of this land that you're going to find that are there for you to eat. Before you do that, make this offering. And that's the thing that the Lord takes extremely seriously. Ask the brother that did that in Jericho. Ask the brother that when he went into the land of Jericho, he decided it was more important to steal gold and silver in a Babylonian garment than to just wait on the Lord. Because like the Lord told him what? The Lord told him what? Anything that you find, it's an accursed thing. Give it to me. That's what he said, right? Sacrifice it to me. He didn't say sacrifice. He said give it to me, right? I'm gonna leave it at those words, right? Give it to me. Don't keep it for yourself. The gold that you find in this land is all accursed. Don't touch the gold. If you find the gold, put it here and I'll deal with it. But don't keep it for yourself. That brother decided, I'd rather keep it for myself. And what ended up happening to him? Him and his whole family got killed in front of everybody because he didn't want to listen to what the Lord told him to do. It's that simple. Like you just have to listen to the Most High God. So now the Lord is telling these brothers and sisters at this time, when you come into the land, don't eat before you sacrifice to me. I'm the reason you're here, right? Keep going.
Verse 14. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
So now in all your dwellings, throughout all your generations, give to the Lord first. That's the point. Like that's why like tithes are so important, right? Tithes are important because that like Christ said, where your treasure is, your heart is also, right? Your treasure is what you have. It's the things that you have, your house, everything that you have, your money, right? Your car, all of that. So when you get paid, the first thing that you should be thinking about is, okay, 10% of this is what? So I can give it to the school because that's giving it to the Lord. That's the tithes, right? You have to always think about the Lord first because the Lord put you in the position that you're in right now. So if the Lord put you in a position to be able to pay rent for this month, then you should also know that the Lord put you in a position, you better pay him that goddamn money. You better pay the Lord his money. That's the thing that you owe him. You owe him that money, right? The same way that back then, thousands of years, this is 4,000 years ago that we're talking about right here, right? The same way 4,000 years ago that the Most High told the children of Israel, I put you in a position to be in this land, this fruitful, bountiful land. Before you do anything else, pay me my debt. You get what I'm saying? Pay me what you owe me. That's what the Lord told you, right? So just everybody should always remember that. That's the spirit behind that, right? First fruits, that's the spirit behind that. Give the Lord first, right? All right, so now we're going to read, let me see, verses 15 through what, 24? That's right? 21, you're right. All right, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verse 15. Let me see. Verse 15. Wasapar thumb, Lakam, Mamakartha, Ashabath, that's like a Hashabath, Mayawam, Habaya Akam, Av, Imar, excuse me, Salaki. Imar, Hathanawapa, Hathanawapa, Shabai, Shabbath Wath, Thamaya Salaki, Thamaya Math, Mahayaya Na, verse 16, Id, Mamakartha, Hashabath, Hashabaya Aitha, Thasaparwa, Kamashiam, Yawam, Wahakwar Batham, Manaka, Hadashah La Yahweh, verse 17, Mamawa Shabbath Thaba'ai Slaki, Thabaya Awa, Lakam, Thanawapa, Shatayam, Shanya, Ashar Nayawam, Slaki, Ashar Nayam, Salak, Tahaya Slaki, Tahaya Yana, Kamataza, the Apayana, Bakar Yawam, it's like a Bakar Yum, La Yahweh, verse 18, Waya Hakwar, it's like it, Waya Hakwar, Waya Hakwar Al, Halakam, Shabaitha, Kabashim, Tamayam Ma, Banya, Shana, Wapar, Ban, Bakwar, Akar, Wa'ayat, Slaki, Wa'ayalam, Shanyam, Yahayawa, Ayla, La Yahawa, Wamana Katham, Wanasa Slaki, Wanasa Kayam, Asha, Rayat, Nayaka, La Yahawa, verse 19, Wa Aisha Yatham, Sha'ayar, Isayam, Akar, Lahata Ath, Washanya, Kabashim Banya, Shana, Lazabak, Shalamyam, verse 20, Wahanyapa, Hakaza, Atham, Al, Lakam, Habakawaryam, Thanawapa, Lapanya, Yahweh Al, Shanya, Kabashim, Kodash, Yahayawa, La Yahweh, Lakahan, verse 21, Wakaratham, Ba'itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Makora, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Kal, Mala'akath, Ibada, it's like Ibadha, La'a, the Aishawa, Hakwath, it's like a Kakwath, Iwalam, Iwalam, Salaki, Bakal, Mawash, it's like a Mawashabathium, it's like Mawashabathukam, La Debar, Thayakam. Verses 8 through, it's like another 8, 15 through 21.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
So 7 Sabbaths is what? 49 days, right? Go ahead.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath.
So after the 7th Sabbath, the day after the 7th Sabbath is what? 50 days, right? Keep going.
Shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
So some people call that the Pentecost. The Pentecost is a Greek word for 50. So it means, right? It's all it means is a number, right? That's it, right? Some people call it the Pentecost. Regardless, right? 50 days after that first initial first fruit offering is 50 days, right? Is a new meat offering for the Lord, right? It's a new Sabbath, right? Keep going.
Verse 17. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baked with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord.
All this is talking about is offering your best to the Lord, right? That's all it is, right? And with very specific instructions. Keep going.
Verse 18. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year.
That's a whole lot of goddamn lambs out there. That's a whole lot of. That's a lot of money. Once again, Christ said himself, "Where your treasure is, where your treasure is, your heart is also." Like that's what you care about. Where you put your treasure in, where you put your money at, where you put, like people say in the world, put your money where your mouth is. Like if you really care about this thing, you're gonna put your money up for it. And brother, in Most High in Christ for the brothers and sisters in the UPK, because we've put our money into this thing. All of the brothers and sisters in the in the Arizona schools put our money into this thing. You get what I'm saying? Not just in building the school, that extremely, of course, right? Putting the school together. You get what I'm saying? The sisters put their time and their effort in. I'm saying to make sure that the brothers is fed, the priests is fed, the troopers is fed, right? And of course, sisters paying their tithes, brothers paying their tithes. Like that is us putting our money where our mouth is. We say we love the Lord, but what are you doing to prove it? Coming to class is easy. Class is 2 hours. 2 hours every, you might come to class once or twice a week. That's 4 hours out of your week. What else are you doing? You get what I'm saying? And that's what this is about. That's what this is all about. It's about putting your money where your mouth is. Action, right? Keep going.
And one young bullock, and one young bullock, and 2 rams, they shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord.
So that's a whole lot of money, man. Remember, if you think about how much a cut of beef is, like think about it today. I know we in Esau's kingdom right now, and the oppressor is the devil. But if you get you a pack, if you ever been to like Costco or you've been to Fry's or whatever, Kroger's, whatever y'all got, wherever y'all at, right? And you get you a 3-pack of ribeye, it's like $40. And that's like if you're getting some like the bare minimum, ain't really no marbling on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like bare minimum. It's like $40. You get you a New York strip, one New York strip. If you go to a restaurant and order a New York strip, how much is that? $20? You know what I'm saying? Go to Outback, it might be like 12, 13, whatever. But they steaks be garbage though. I'm just put that out there. Point being though, it's a lot of money. Now that's one little tiny cut off of a cow. You go to your fancy Italian restaurant and they got the rack of lamb, and they get you 3 little pieces off of a lamb, and it's $40. Now they can charge that because that's how much it's worth. Now that's just a little piece of the lamb. How about the rest of them? Now you offering 7 of those once a year, every single year, 7 of those. That's thousands of dollars just with the lamb alone. Now, are you willing to do that for the Lord? I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there for y'all to put it in your heads to understand. The Lord doesn't just require you to speak and pray and and run up and down the Christian church aisle and say, I love the Lord and the Lord loves me and God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. That's not what the Lord requires from you. He requires action. Things that actually matter to you. And everybody understands this. Money matters to Black people. It has to, because we're in captivity. It has to matter to us. If you're not willing to get that up, then Lord be with you or not. Right? Keep going.
With their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire.
So that's 7 lambs without blemish, so meaning good lambs. Not the stuff you get at Costco. Not the stuff you get at Fry's or Kroger's. Those are like lambs with blemish that they're going to get rid of, and you're going to pay bottom dollar for, right? He's talking about the best of the best, right? And 1 young bullock, right? Which is that beautiful beef that y'all love to eat. A whole one, though, not just the ribeye. Not just the top sirloin, not just the chuck roast, all of it. You get what I'm saying? And 2 rams. Like, goddamn, that's a whole lot of meat, a whole lot of money that you've given away to serve the Most High God, right? All of that's got to be a burnt offering to the Lord, meaning you don't get to sell it. You don't get to use it for trade, right? 19.
Verse 19. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. Verse 20. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest.
So those are holy. Those are separate. Those are specifically for the priest. At this time, this was the Levitical priesthood, so that was specific for the Levites, right? Keep going.
Verse 21. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout all your generations.
So all of the things that we're reading, just if you really think about it, everything that we're talking about, it's a statute forever. Meaning we must keep these feast days forever, always, right? And now, so what would happen is, right, because it says it's a holy convocation. I mentioned this last on the memorial of the blowing the trumpets, right? What would happen is, because we were so closely knit together, when it was time for the Sabbath service, or when it was time for the High Holy Day to be celebrated, my brother would take one of these, a ram's horn, and would take it, blow it. Everybody in the neighborhood would hear it. It would come into the temple, and everybody would be, and bring their offering. You get what I'm saying? And that's what would normally happen, right? Of course, today, if I go out there and blow this horn, the police gonna shoot me. That's gonna happen if I blow this horn, right? They're gonna think I'm some retard outside, making a bunch of noise, right? The people at that bus stop, they're gonna be extremely confused. Now this is an alarm. This is an alarm. This is a call, right? They might think it's a call for me to sell them some dope because who the hell is out here blowing on this thing that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, point being is, in this time, you could go outside and you could blow one of these ram's horns, and this was a symbol and a sound and an alert and an alarm for all Israel to come together for that high holy day. You gonna say something?
It's a lot of you, sir. So building what you're saying is funny. Like it's funny, but not funny. As you said, you know, the police will shoot you because they'll find a way to confuse that with a gun, just like
Yeah.
just like an actual pistol
Nah,
or a taser.
It's kind of dark outside. I wouldn't, you know.
Sir. And they'll find a way to fear for their lives.
Right. No, damn right. You're not lying about that. That's why this chapter actually is it's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Because this chapter is talking about when we come into our own land. There is no police outside of us. Like the judges of Israel are going to be judging us. The judges of Israel are going to be the ones that decide whether or not this is a gun or not. Like when a white man wants to decide if this is a gun or I'm holding this big thing up, I can understand it maybe. If I hold this up, the white man look at this like, oh yeah, he got a gun in his hand. It's a goddamn cell phone. You get what I'm saying? The judges of Israel wouldn't make that type of mistake, right? So that's a totally different, a different world that we be living in, right? Which is going to come soon. It's happened before, and we screwed it up. You get what I'm saying? We lived in a society where we could go outside and blow one of these horns, and everybody could come together. When there was an important message to be heard, I could go outside and I could blow this thing, and no matter what somebody was doing, if they were at their slavery, right? Like now today, right? If you get called, like if you get a call from one of us and we tell you, hey, we need you here, a brother can rightfully so say, Salaki, sir, I'm at my slavery. I can't really step away right now. If I step away, they're gonna fire me, right? But in this time that we're reading about, it wasn't no heathens ruling over us. You get what I'm saying? It was us ruling over us. And so if we were working, right, and we were doing our servile work, if we heard this horn blow, didn't matter what we were doing. We could be in the middle of a task. It's time to go to the temple and see what this message is, see what this alert is. You know what I'm saying? So that's, of course, going to come back. That's going to happen again. All right? Let's get back into it. So where we at? 22 to 28. All right. So I'll be reading Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, beginning at verse 22. Wabakwataza rakam af kwatazayara. Slaki, Kwatazayar, Aratazakam, La'a, Thakala, Pa'ath, Shadka, Bakwatazarka, Slaki, Walakwat, Kwatazayarak, La'a, Talakwat, La'anya, Salaki, La'anya, Walagar, Ta'izaba, Atham, Anya, Yahweh, Alahayakam, verse 23. Wayadabar, Yahweh, Al-Mashah, La'amar, verse 24. Debar, Al-Banya, Yasha'ala, La'amar, Bakadash, Hashab Ya'ai, Ba'akad, Lakadash, Yahaya, Lakam, Shabbath 1, Zakar 1, Tharwa'aiha, Makara, Kodash, verse 25, Call, Mala'aktha, Ibadha, La'a, Tha'aishawa, Wahakorabtham, Asha, La Yahweh, verse 26, Wayadabar Yahweh Amashah, La Amar, verse 27, Akah, Ba'aishawar, Lakadash, Hashab Ya'ai, Hazaha, Yawam, Hakaparium, Hawa'a, Makara, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Wa'an Yatham, Av, Slaki, Wakashak Yakam, Wahakarabtham, Asha, La Yahweh, verse 28, Slaki, Wakal, Mala'aka, La'a, the Aishawa, Ba'aitazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Kaya, Yawam, Kaparyam, Hawa'a, Lakapar, Al Yakam, Lapanya Yahweh, Allah Yakam. All right, so that's verses 22 through 28. Read those in English.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest.
This is a brotherhood scripture. Like, this is a scripture that it clearly sets a difference between us and the white man and any other nation, really. This is a scripture of selflessness. This is a scripture of, instead of you being greedy and harvesting all of your crops, you're going to do something different. Instead of harvesting all of your crops, you're going to do something a little different, right? Keep going.
Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest.
Gleaning is like if you have an apple tree, if an apple just falls off by itself, like you didn't pluck it down, it just fell off, that's gleaning. I mean, it just fell off by itself, right? Don't gather that. Leave it there on the floor. Keep going.
Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger.
You should leave them unto the poor and unto the stranger. Meaning, you're going to have brothers and sisters that are poor. They're just going to be poor. Bad circumstances, whatever the case is, right? They're going to be strangers unto you, meaning they might come from the land of Manasseh. You're in the land of Judah, meaning if anybody understands the Old Testament or the way that Israel was set up, each tribe had their own plot of land. And it was a very big plot of land because there's only 12 tribes in that big land of Israel. The land of Israel is not what you see today. It's the whole Middle East, all of it, right? And so now there was 12 plots of land that were separated. Now somebody might be a poor brother or poor sister from the land of Manasseh, which is the northern kingdom of Israel. You, as a Judite, might be in the southern kingdom, right? They might come as a stranger to you. You don't know this person, but they're poor. They don't have any money. They don't have any food. The point is, don't gather all of your harvest so that when they come by and they want it, okay, let me put it to you like this. Imagine, right? I don't know if anybody grew up the same way I did. Like, I used to walk up and down the street and I would see like orange trees. And a nigga would be kind of hungry and be like, all right, let me grab it, orange off of the tree. That's what I used to do. You know what I'm saying? I grab an orange off of the tree, apple tree or whatever the case is, and I would eat it. Nigga hungry. I ain't got no food with me. I ain't got no dollars in my pocket. But I know it's this orange tree right around the way. And it's always there hanging over on the side, right? So I'm going to go grab me an orange. I'm going to peel the orange. I'm going to eat it. Kept the nigga fed some days, right? Point being is, I couldn't do that if they gathered all of that and hogged it to themselves. So now in the land of Israel, now that's on a very small scale because that's like personal. That's like, one person decides, okay, I'm gonna have my orange tree in the front yard. They're just gonna take the law. It's like, yeah, there's some cats, they're gonna come through and they're gonna take the oranges off the orange tree, right? As a whole, what does America do? America doesn't allow you to come gather that that orange off of the orange tree or that grapefruit off of that grapefruit tree. They don't allow you to, like, that's stealing to them. You know what I'm saying? Technically, don't do that. Don't walk up to anybody's property and take an orange off of their orange tree. That's technically stealing. Don't do that. You get what I'm saying? Point being is, the reason why it's considered stealing is because the United States government made it stealing. There are people that are poor that have no money in America. Like I hear Officer Abayak talk about this all the time. Listen, it's white people out here. If you go down here, around the corner, on the I-17, under that underpass, it's nothing but homeless white people. Nothing but homeless white people. America is the reason why there's homeless Americans, right? Because America doesn't allow homeless people to get actual help. You know what they let them have? Good. Drugs too, but what happens in them homeless shelters? Why would somebody that knows that they can go to a homeless shelter and have free food and have a free place to stay. Why wouldn't they go there?
Because they know everybody's corrupt in there.
Is it not a whole lot of molestation and rape going on in them places?
No, sir.
It's all types of terrible things going on in those places. Like America says, no, we care about our homeless, so that's why they can go to the homeless shelter. Inside of them homeless shelters, I've heard some of the most disgusting rape stories, some of the most disgusting molestation stories that have happened to grown men. I'm talking about grown men that can fend for themselves, that have happened to this in them places. That's because why? Because America doesn't actually care about its people. This right here, just to stay on topic, right? This right here is the Lord giving a damn about his people. Nobody actually gets to be homeless and poor in Israel. You get what I'm saying? We're gonna have resources for everybody. And at one point it was like that. At one point we had resources, we had a place for everybody to stay. Now I'm in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. If you go into the book of Deuteronomy, it talks about you housing the homeless. Meaning you can't just see somebody, a brother that's homeless and he's keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and he doesn't have a place to stay. If you have an extra place for him to stay, he gets to stay with you. Like that's what the scriptures say. No brother or sister gets to be homeless in Israel because we're all going to look out for each other, right? And another thing about, just if I could, another thing about Israel is we don't have like a government like America does. America has a republic where there's like an elected official for each area and this, that, and the third. Israel has one king. Mm-hmm. At this time, it was just Yahweh. It was just the Most High God. But now we have a king named Yahweh Shai Mashiach. He is the one that governs everything. There's no government. There's one that governs. And so he's going to give all of the rules. And the Most High laid all these rules out for us, right? So there's no homeless shelters where everybody getting raped and, people are getting assaulted. You know what I'm saying? All of the terrible things that happen in them places, man. That's not going to happen. So many people, I'm going to get off this in just a second, but so many people, do not allow they don't go into them homeless shelters, even though they're homeless, because they have children. And they know that them children are not safe in them places. You get what I'm saying? America's way of dealing with poverty is absolutely backwards, right? The Most High has it right, and we're seeing it right now, right? Keep going.
I am the Lord your God. Verse 23. Mm-hmm. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets.
Right, we just did that last week. Right, keep going.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
That's what? A day of what?
Atonement.
That's a day of atonement, man. Once again, what's the definition of atonement?
To make amends or reparations.
To make amends or reparations for something that you've done wrong, right? To fix it. Like I said, all of us in here, man, we've wronged the Most High. And that's what we're making atonement for right now. Brothers and sisters, lips gonna start to get crusty by the end of the night. Wake up hungry, thirsty. And you should do that with a smile on your face, like I'm smiling right now. Do it with a smile on your face, because that's the Lord's mercy. Because he could have definitely had you go through something much worse than not eating, not drink. Most of us grew up not eating anyway. You get what I'm saying? Most of us grew up 24-hour period without eating. That ain't nothing. You get what I'm saying? Not having no good with you drinking water out the faucet, that make you thirsty. You take a sip out of that faucet water, that's you thirsty at the end of that sip. Like we done dealt with it before. The Lord has already punished us in that way, but this is the Lord having mercy on us. We are atoning for all of the devilish, evil, wickedness that we've done throughout our entire lives. We're making atonement for that. We're making reparation for that, right? Keep going.
It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls.
And listen, you're going to afflict your soul. What's your soul? Your body. You're going to afflict your soul and your mind too. That's going to get afflicted too. You get what I'm saying? Afflict means what? Hurt. That's what it means. And that's what we got to do today, right? Keep going.
And offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And ye shall do no work in that same day.
No work in that same day. Like in that day, we don't. If you can get the day off, absolutely get the day off. You get what I'm saying? If you can get the day off, because what you're going to be doing, you're going to be suffering. Imagine having a job like this, brother. Like some of the jobs that I done had to work. You know what I'm saying? And not eating, not drinking. That's a dangerous thing. The Lord don't want you to do that. The Lord don't want you to kill yourself. He just wants you to afflict your soul. He don't want you to die. You know what I'm saying? Lord said that he would rather that no man would die, right? But that all should come into the repentance of the Lord, right? That's what the Lord wants you to do. Get the day off, man, if you can. And if you're in the truth, you should know to call ahead. You know what I'm saying? You know that the Day of Atonement, September 15th through the 16th. So you know the 16th, you're going to have to get that day off of work. Call in a month ahead and say, you know, I have a religious holiday that I'm going to be celebrating. I need this day off of work. Right? Suffer with the rest of your brothers and sisters, man. Keep going.
To make an atonement for you. Salakia. To make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
Mm-hmm.
It's 28.
Oh, that's the rest? Okay, cool. 29 through 35. 29 through 35, I think, right? So we're gonna read Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verse 29. If I can find it. All right, verse 29. Kaya, Ka, Hanapash, Ashar, La'ah, Ta'aina, Ba'aitazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Wanakartha, Ma'imya, verse 30, Wakal, Hanapash, Ashar, the Aisha, Kal, Slaki, Kal, Mala'aka, Ba'aitazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Wahabathaya, Ath, Hanapash, Hahana'a, that's like a Hahawa'a, Makarab, Aima, verse 30, that's like verse 31, Call, Mala'aka, La'a, Sa'aishawa, Hakwath, that's like a Kakwath, Iwalam, Ladabar, Thayakam, Bakal, Mashabath, Yakam, verse 32, Shabbat, it's like a Shabbath, Shabbath 1, it's like a Shabbath 1, Hawa'ah, Lakam, Wa'ain Yatham, Ath, Napash, Thayakam, Bathash, Slagi, Bathasha'ai, Lakadash, Ba'irab, Ma'irab, Irab, Slagi, Tashabathwa, Shabbathkam, verse 33, Waya Dabar Yahweh Al Mashah, La Amar, verse 34, Dabar, Al Banya Yasha Allah, La Amar, Baka, Slagi, Bakamashah, Ashar, Dawam, Lala, Slagi, Lakadash, Hashabya I, Hazaha, Kaga, Hasakawath, Shabaitha Yamayam, La Yahweh, verse 35, Bayawam, Harashwan, Makara, Kodash, Kal, Mala'aktha, Slaki Mala'aktha, Ibadha, La'ah, the Aishawa, verse 36, Shabaitha Yamayam, the Kwar Ya'abwa, Slagi, the Kwar Yabwa, Asha, La Yahweh, Bayawam, Shamayanya, Makura, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Wakarabtham, Asha, La Yahweh, Itazaroth, Hawa call Mala Aktha, Ibadha La'a, the Aishawa, verse 37. Allaha, Mawa'aya Yahweh Ashar, Hakwara Wa, Atha, that's like a thumb, Makwara Kodash, Akwara Yab, Asha, La Yahweh, Allah, Wamanaka, Zabak, Wanasa, so like Wanasakyum, the bar Yawam, by Yawamwa, verse 38. Malabad, Shabbatha, Yahweh, Wamalabad, Salaki, Mathanwa, Sayakam, Wamalabad, Kal, Nadariyakam, Wamalabad, Kal, Nadab, Wathayakam, Ashar, Salaki, Tathanwa, La Yahweh. All right. So that's it. Stopping at verse 38. All right, so we're gonna start at verse 32.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the ninth day of this month at even, from even unto even.
So from even unto even. So tonight, right, is the evening. When the sun went down, it became the evening, right? We're gonna afflict our souls. We're gonna fast, right? We're gonna eat no food, drink no water until tomorrow evening, right? Keep going.
Shall ye celebrate your Sabbath? And the Lord spake.
It's like, if I could, that's a celebration. Like, we should all appreciate this, because the punishment, and this is not a punishment. I just want y'all to understand, it's not a punishment. Us having to fast, it's not a punishment at all, right? But the Lord could have punished us. Like, we could have never came into the truth. We could have. Remember, the scriptures say, if you go back into the book of Deuteronomy, the book of Numbers, and the book of Leviticus, it says that if you miss a Passover in your entire lifetime, you are cut off from Israel. I think for about 10 generations. So that means if you were not born into the truth and kept the Passover from the time that you were born, you don't get to be in the congregation. You get what I'm saying? So we would all not be here, right? But because of the Lord's mercy, and because of the Lord's grace, he allowed us to get messed up for 18 years of our lives, 23 years of our lives, 30 years of our lives. Some brothers, 60 years of our lives, get it wrong. And then you get it right. And so you've missed 60 Passovers. But that 60th year, you come into the truth. You get this oil poured on your head, and you get anointed by the Most High God. And you now are in the truth. You are in the congregation. You know, so there's another scripture, there's plenty of them, right? Scripture say you got a cleft nose, you can't even come up in here. I mean, you got a nose that does this thing, you can't even come up in here. The scriptures say if you a midget, you can't come up in here. You a midget, you jammed up. That's it. No midgets can come into the congregation of Israel. Now, if a midget comes through that door, am I going to reject him? Hell no, because I missed 20-something Passovers. How many hell was? I missed a whole lot of Passovers. I missed decades worth of Passovers. I shouldn't be in here. But because of the Most High's graciousness and because he has favor unto his people, I'm allowed to be up in here. You get what I'm saying? Scripture say if you are a bastard child, I mean, if your father didn't claim you, that's like half of Israel. If your father didn't claim you, you can't come into the congregation. You can't come and worship the Lord. You can't come to the altar. You can't come to the Sabbath service. You can't come to these high holy days. And that's, like I said, that's like half of Israel. That would just cut us all out. You know what I'm saying? The UPK would be empty. Would be no people in here. Because the type of people that come into the UPK are the ones that were rejected by their father. Scriptures say that if you were born out of whoredom, you can't come in here. Now, how many? It's not a question. It's a rhetorical question. Nobody can answer this. But how many of us were born out of whoredom? By your mom and your dad linking up on some sneaky link type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Getting down, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Had you. And your mama had another man. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't be in here if it wasn't for the graciousness and the mercy of the Most High. So, another way that you can look at that too is this little 24-hour period that you got to go without food, without water, the necessities, the bare necessities to life. That's all the Lord is requiring of you. That's it. And keep his commandments. I mean, that's kind of a cool thing if you think about it, because otherwise, if he didn't employ these things, you couldn't even be in the congregation. I mean, you couldn't even be in the truth. You'd just be a vagabond somewhere. You'd be a homeless person somewhere, begging and wishing that you could be in the truth. The Lord has given you this thing mercifully, right? So I would just look at this thing as a light thing. I talked to this brother about it earlier. This is a light thing. 24 hours, no food, no water. This is a light thing. This is nothing compared to what the Lord could do to you. The Lord could make you do a lot worse. 4 days without water, that's it. Your insides shrivel up and you die. You know what I'm saying? He could make it a 4-day thing. Most High in Christ that he didn't, but he could have. He could have made you suffer for real, for real. This ain't nothing, man. And what this will do is this will weed out the strong from the weak. It'll separate the wheat from the tares. You know what I'm saying? The wheat is what? It's bountiful. It's fruitful. It's gonna do something for you. The tare is just a weed. It's nothing. If you can't stand this, then you can't be in here because you're not being fruitful. You get what I'm saying? There's no fruit. The Lord's not gonna gain anything by having you in here. You can't even stand 24 hours without food and water. Right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 33. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles.
Feast of what?
Tabernacles.
That's coming up. It's coming up. I think next week, week after, something like that. It's coming up real soon. We'll be doing that next. Keep going.
For 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you.
Yeah, this is next week. Matter of fact, let me get this for you real quick. 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. 1 second. I just want to make sure everybody knows that feast. Yeah, let me see. That feast, you can bring some food.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some food. That's Monday the 20th. That's next Monday. All right. Monday, 7 p.m. We'll be having the Feast of Tabernacles here. Bring some food.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just bring some food. All right. Listen. By the end of this, we're gonna all be thinking about some food. If y'all want to come to class tomorrow, also, we'll have some food here tomorrow night, because just to break our fast, we'll have some food here. Especially because for the brothers, you know what I'm saying, that brother specifically gonna have to teach class, and he gonna have to do it on an empty stomach unless we bring some food here. So there'll be some food here. Anybody else want to bring some food, y'all are more than welcome to. All right. But next Monday night, right? Next Monday night at 7 p.m., we'll have the Feast of Tabernacles. Well, that'll be a holy gathering as well, a holy convocation as well. We'll get together just like this, except there'll be food involved and nobody will be thirsty. All right, keep going.
And
go ahead.
And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It is a solemn assembly.
It's a solemn assembly, right? Keep going.
And ye shall do no servile work therein.
Mm-hmm.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day, beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord.
So these days are days that you celebrate and that you observe, aside from everything else that you offer to the Most High. Like sometimes all you have to offer is your time. I'm saying coming to class. Sometimes that's all you offer, which is fine. Sometimes all you offer is your tithes, right? Sometimes all you offer is your priest funds, right? beside all of the other things that you offer, you know, at this time, of course, there was sin offerings and things like that as well. Besides all of that, these are the days that you must observe, right? These 7 days specifically. Now, in the UPK, we have 9 days that we come together for holy convocations. 7 of them are high holy days, which are what you find in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Outside of that, you'll find what 2 days? Go ahead.
But the Pentecost?
No.
Or
Pentecost is in here. That's first fruits.
Purim
Purim,
and
which you can find where?
sir.
Book of Esther.
I heard it from Officer Broncos
Purim is in the book of Esther, right?
concert.
That's one holy day that we celebrate. That's about that's about us defeating our enemies, specifically by the hand of a woman. I mean, that's a beautiful thing too, right? Now the other one is what that we observe. That's not in the 23rd chapter of Leviticus. Christ celebrated it. Feast of time's sake, feast of dedication, Hanukkah, right? Or what the Jewish man calls Hanukkah. You get what I'm saying? We celebrate that. You can find that in the book of 2nd Maccabees. Okay, those are the two, Purim and Hanukkah or dedication. Those are the two that we celebrate that are outside of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Those two are not high holy days. Those are classes. Like when we come in there, when we come in here and we are celebrating those days, I'll read the book of Esther, right? We'll read the book of Esther. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down, give the precepts and all of that, right? As what's different in here, right, today, you see we're going through this whole chapter of Leviticus, 23rd chapter. And this whole chapter, this is a Sabbath service, right? Feast of dedication. We're going to go over when we beat the living hell out of the Grecians. You get what I'm saying? When we kick their ass out of our land. That's a beautiful thing. That's probably one of my favorite ones. I like it. Next to like Passover. Passover is like the same kind of thing. So it hits a little bit different when you can relate. Like, anyway, that'll come up. You know, a couple more months. In December, we'll be celebrating the Feast of Hanukkah, or the Feast of Dedication. Right, same thing. But that's the point, right? So beside all of the rest of your offerings, the rest of what you do throughout the year, these are the things that you must come together and observe. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and read 39. Let me see where we at. 39. Okay, I'm gonna just read 39 all the way through 41. All right, where we at? All right. Verse 39. Akah, Bakamusha, Ishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Hashab Ya'i, Ba'asapakma, Ath, Thabawa'a, Ha'arataza, Thakagwa, Af, Kaga, Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Bayawam, Salakia, Hara'ash 1, Shabbat 1, Wabayawam, Hashamayanya, Shabbat 1, verse 40. Verse 40. Labah, Kwakatham, Lakam, Bayawam, Hara'ash 1, Parya, Aitaza, Hadar, Kapath, Thamaryam, Wa'anap, Aitaza, Ibath, Wa'irabya, Nakal, Washamaktham, Lapanya, Yahweh, Alahayakam, Shabaitha, Yamayam, verse 41, Wakaga, Thumb, Athwa, Thaga, that's like a Kaga, La Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Bashana, Hakwath, Iwalam, Ladabar, Slaki, Ladabar, Thayakam, Bakarash, Hashabya I, Thakagap, Thathar, Slaki, Thakagawa, Athwa, verse 42, Basakath, Slaki, Tashabwa, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Kal, Ha'azarak, Bayasha'ala, Yashabwa, Basakta, verse 43, Salakia, verse 43, Lama Ain, Yadyawa, Darath Yakam, Kaya, Basakawath, Hawashab Taya, Ath, Banya Yasha'ala, Bahawatazaya, Awatham, Ma'arataza, Matazarium, Anya Yahweh, Alahayakam, Waya Debar Mashah, Ath, Ma'idya, Yahweh Al, Banya Yasha'ala. All right, go ahead.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
So we're still talking about the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Keep going.
Verse 42. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days.
Booths or tents, right? Keep going.
All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths, when I brought them out of the land of Egypt.
When
I brought them out of the land of Egypt.
When they were in America?
Egypt.
Listen, we don't stop going. Listen, you guys got to stop doing this. Don't go in your backyard and pitch a tent and say, I'm celebrating the Feast of Booths. That's not, some of these other fake Israelite groups go out and they go to the lake, to the white man's man-made lake. It's not even an original lake. It's a man-made lake. And they go set up tents and get in boats and have their shirts off together. Y'all be having your shirts off together in these boats, like the goddamn white man exposing your nakedness to everything around you. Talking about you dwelling in booths, you living like the wilderness. Nigga, nobody had their shirt off around each other. Shut that the hell up. Stop it. Stop doing that. Don't do that. You get what I'm saying? This is talking about the future generations being able to see what the Lord did to the children of Israel when he took them out of the land of Egypt. Not when they were in the land of America. Don't go in your back. Some of y'all go in the backyard and pitch tents up and sleep back there. Same, little area where your dog, uses the restroom at. Y'all go and put a tent down there. Nasty as hell, man. Quit doing that. Get in the AC. Come in here. We got AC in here. It's fan blowing right now. We got AC coming all through the vents. This is a nice place to celebrate this thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to remember our forefathers and foremothers that did dwell in tents. We're not setting up tents in here, man. Stop doing that. Don't be ridiculous. Keep going.
I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feasts of the Lord.
Those are the feasts of who?
The Lord.
Those are the feasts of the Lord, man. So now let's get a couple of precepts to close out, okay? First, if you can give me Isaiah 58 chapter. Give me Isaiah 58 chapter. Give me verse. Give me verse 3. Let's talk about how to properly, because some people look at this. I remember I was one of them. Afflict your soul. How you know that means fasting, right? How do you know that means not eating? How do you know that means not drinking, right? Well, the scriptures give a clear definition on what it means to fast and what it means to afflict your soul, right? Go ahead and give me that verse 3.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 3. Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not.
So now, matter of fact, give me verse 1 just to give you some context. Go ahead.
Verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
So this was the Most High telling Isaiah, specifically Isaiah, right, to go and teach, to go and hold camp, right? Like you'll see many times Isaiah, Ezekiel, a lot of these prophets, they stood up on a pulpit of wood just like we do. So the Lord is telling Isaiah, go outside, cry aloud, and spare nobody's feelings. Don't spare nothing, right? And show my people Jacob their transgression, right? Explain what the same thing we do out at camp. Explain why black people are in the condition that they're in. Explain why Hispanics are being locked up in cages. Explain why these things are happening to us and what we must do to change it, right? That's what the Lord is telling Isaiah to do, right? Keep going.
Verse 2. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to God.
Right. So we act like a nation that's, always been with God. We act like a nation that's never left God. We've always done the right thing. That's how we act. Because when it comes time for us to be in turmoil and trouble, we like talking to the Most High, like, where the hell you at? Why you leave us? Right? Like we've always been with him. But the Lord left us. Why? Because we did not keep his commandments, because we didn't follow what he told us to do, right? We didn't listen to his rules. It's that simple, right? Keep going.
Verse 3. Wherefore have we fasted?
So this is something else that we've also said, right? Wherefore also means why, right? Why have we fasted? Go ahead.
Say they. And thou seest not.
So why do we fast? We fasted, but you don't see it. Right? Keep going.
Wherefore have we afflicted our soul?
Did what?
Afflicted our soul.
Afflicted our soul. Keep going.
And thou takest no knowledge.
Takest no knowledge. I mean, you're not even seeing that. When we fasted, we was afflicting our soul. But the Lord didn't see that. He didn't care. The same way that if you go into the New Testament, you can see what's the precept that I want. Tell me what the precept that I want.
Salaki, sir, regarding what?
We fasted, but the Lord acknowledged it not. Christ said it. You gotta know this.
I probably do.
Listen, but it's okay. I'll just give it to you. It's when it's fine. It's when Christ was telling the people, many will say in that day, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? Have we not fed the sick in your name? Fed the hungry and healed the sick in your name? And Christ is gonna say what? Turn away from me. I never knew you. That's the same thing that was happening here. We fasted, so-called, for the Lord, right? But the Lord didn't acknowledge our fasting. We afflicted our souls in that fasting. We went days without eating. We went days without drinking water. And the Lord didn't give a damn about it. What should that tell you about today? If you're doing this thing in vain, we're not going to acknowledge. You're going to be wasting your goddamn time. This day of you going without water, going without food, this is for you to make an atonement with the Most High, not for you to look righteous. This ain't a thing for you to, be able to post. I did the Day of Atonement, or for people around you to look at you and say, "Oh yeah, that sister, that brother did the Day of Atonement. Oh, he righteous." That's not what this day is about. This day is between you and the Most High God. Nobody outside of us should even know that you fasting, right? The Lord is not going to accept your so-called atonement if it's not true atonement. If you're not really willing to pay for what you've done. This is just a thing to look. The Sadducee and Pharisee did the same thing. They stood on the street corners in sackcloth. Y'all know what sackcloth is that same thing that you have potato sack. Same thing. They putting that on, and they put it on specifically when they was fasting to let everybody know. Yeah, man, I ain't had no food all day. Why did they do that? They wasn't afflicting themselves for the Lord. They was afflicting themselves for you. So you could see, yeah, them some righteous cats right there. Them some righteous cats. The same reason why your Christian pastor cries on TV. He cries on TV because he's afflicting himself, not for the Most High. He's not crying to the Lord. He's crying for your dollars in your pocket. He wants you to empty out your pocket for them tears. Your pastor's a stripper. It's the same thing. Only difference is he's not stripping clothes. He's stripping tears out of his face. And you throwing dollars for every tear that he dropped. That's what you're doing. Because they're doing it for the outward view, right? Whereas we in the UPK, we're going to be hungry. And nobody's going to ever know that we're hungry. Nobody. Not even each other. Nobody's going to make a post about it. Nobody's going to make a post, oh man, I'm so damn much. Nobody's going to do that. Because in here, we're not doing it for other people. We're doing it between us and the Lord, right? Give me another one. Is there more on that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Behold, in the day of your fast, ye find pleasure and exact all your labors.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. A lot of y'all cats think that you can have a fast to the Most High, and it can be a light thing. You just kind of do whatever you want to do. On this day, it's a strict fast. Like this is a fast that there are no outliers. Meaning, if you are able-bodied, you have to keep this fast. There's nothing that you can, you don't feel like it or whatever. This is a yearly thing, annual thing. We consistently, every single year, since 1969, have been holding down this fast at the same time. You know what I'm saying? All of us together. If you could give me Joel, the 2nd chapter, right? Give me Joel, the 2nd chapter. I want to show y'all something. This might be the last one. So Joel 2 and verse 12. All right.
This is the book of Job, chapter 2, verse 12. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept. And they rent every one his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven.
You have Joel 2 and 12?
Sloggy, sir. Do you say Job or Joel?
Joel, yeah.
Oh, Sloggy, sir.
But that's probably my fault. I'll be having, it's all good. Yeah, the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 12.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 12. Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart.
With what?
All your heart.
All your heart. What's your heart? Your mind. With all your mind. With all your might. Right? Turn to the Most High. Keep going.
And with fasting.
And with what?
Fasting.
Go ahead.
And with weeping. And with mourning.
The Lord wants you to suffer, man. He wants you to suffer. And you deserve it. You might not think you do, but you deserve it. All of the things that you've done. Now, some people don't look at these things as so serious. Right? Growing up in the family that you grew up in, you think you're just a victim of circumstance. Right? You still did the things that you've done. It's that simple. So you still must atone for what you've done. The Lord wants you to suffer for it. And he is a merciful God. And we're about to read about how merciful he is. He's a merciful God because he could have you do much more than fast for a day. You know what I'm saying? He could have you do much more than that. But he's having you do this little thing. He wants you to fast, right? Keep going.
Verse 13. And rend your heart and not your garments.
So rend your heart. What does it mean to rend something? It's to tear it, right? Tear it apart. So when he says rend your heart, what does that mean? You tear your heart up? You kill yourself? What does that mean? What does it mean?
Sloggy, sir. It means be sad.
Yes, it does. What does it mean? With, like, okay, if you hear somebody say, my heart is broken. It's what the Lord is telling you to do. It's telling you to have a broken heart, a contrite heart. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Lord is telling you to do. You should be sad about the thing. Like, you should care so much about the evil that you've done and realize how much that you've hurt your Father. The Lord has talked to you over and over again. If you watch these Sabbath services, man, we talk about in the book of Isaiah, the book of Ezekiel, the book of Jeremiah, how the Lord is sad with us, man. He's sad. He's angry. He's jealous. That's your Father that you make him feel all of them emotions. You making your Father go through all of this. Why? Because you want to get high? Because you want to have sex with white people? Because you want to do whatever you want to do. So you're willing to do whatever you want to do and sacrifice the love of the Most High God and sacrifice the Most High's tears The Lord said that he's wept for us. Imagine that. Imagine the Most High Power, the creator of heaven and earth, crying over a dumb nigga like you or me. Like, imagine that. But he crying over us. The Lord is saying now you got to have a broken heart. You have to have a broken heart because of all that you've done to me. And it ain't nothing like we've done to him, right? But keep going.
And turn unto the Lord your God,
Mm-hmm.
for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil.
And what?
Repenteth him of the evil.
Listen, the Lord could just destroy all of us. He could get rid of all of us. He could, listen, remember, I bring this up all the time. The Most High was planning on getting rid of us anyway. He was going to get rid of us when him and Moses was on the Mount Sinai, speaking face to face. The Lord said, "You know what, Moses, get the hell out of my way. Move. I'm about to kill all of them niggas, all of the Israelites, and I'm gonna make a nation out of you. It's gonna be the Mosesites. It's gonna be the Mashaites, right?" And Moses had to plead our cause. That's what Moses had to do. And what did the Most High do? Instead of killing Moses for stepping to the side and stepping out of order, really, what did the Most High do to Moses? Most High said, "You know what? You're right." Because he gives a damn about us. But the problem is we don't give a damn about him. Show the Lord that you give a damn about him. You get what I'm saying? Show the Lord that you care about him. Don't drink any water today and, till sundown tomorrow. Because he said not to. It's a small thing that he's asking. He suffered. Now, he suffered us for 10,000 years. You can't suffer him for a day out of every year? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Don't eat any food. Now, just to give a quick disclaimer, right? This is talking about able-bodied men and women. This is not talking like if you're nursing. I mean, if you're a woman that's breastfeeding, right? You need those nutrients to go into your child, your baby. You know what I'm saying? Eat food, drink water, you fine. For a child is not to participate in this. Now, let me ask you this question, right? So I said that wrong. Do children participate in the Day of Atonement? Yes or no?
Sir.
They do. They do participate, but they don't fast, right? Now, this is what we have to remember about the Day of Atonement. Fasting is only part of the Day of Atonement. Like for us, we have to keep it. If we're able-bodied and we can keep it, right? Children still should understand what the Day of Atonement is about, and they should still atone for their sins. They should still spend this day. Like, of course, it's hard for some children. Some children are just not grown enough to be able to understand what it means to repent or anything like that. But like my children, for instance, I'm not going to starve them today, but they're going to understand that today is a day that they need to repent for what they've done wrong. They need to pray unto the Most High. They need to atone for what they've done wrong. They're not going to atone the same way I'm atoning, right? But they're going to have to atone, right? So children do not have to fast. They can eat. Let them have their hamburgers and sandwiches and water and juice and whatever the hell they like to eat, right? If you're on medication, if medication is causing you to have to eat, causing you to have to drink water, right? Drink water. We're not stupid in here, right? So we don't want nobody to die, right? That's not our thing. Our thing is not making people die to keep the laws and statutes and commandments. The laws and statutes and commandments are made for you to live, right? That's the point. Those are a few of the exceptions, right? Once again, the basis of it is if you are able-bodied, meaning you can fast. You know whether you can fast or not. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point, right? We want to make sure that we atone for our sins. All of the evil things that we've done, right, throughout our lifetime. This is a day where we can atone for those things and make it right with the Most High. With that being said, just me up here on Majin, which means to stand. We're going to go ahead and close out the Day of Atonement service for tonight. Everybody else on Majin, which means to stand. Wapanya Hagwadam, which means to face the east, which is that way. We're gonna start off with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash,
Kodash.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Shamka,
Shamka.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Malak with Ka,
Malak with Ka.
Taba'ah,
Taba'ah.
Ratazaka,
Ratazaka.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Aisha,
Aisha.
Barataza,
Barataza.
Kawa,
Kawa.
Hayah,
Hayah.
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim.
Nathanawa,
Nathanawa.
Lakam,
Lakam.
Call Yawam,
Call your one.
Wasalakanawa,
Wasalaknawa.
Kawabwathnawa,
Kabawatnawa.
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalaknawa.
Kawabathinawa,
Kabawatnawa.
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah.
Tabayanawa,
Tabayanawa.
Banasaiwan,
Banasaiwan.
Abal,
Abal.
Hawashanawa,
Hawashinawa.
Mayan,
Mayan.
Raikaya,
Rakaya.
Laka,
Laka.
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa.
Wa'ala,
Waha'al.
Wathapara,
Watapara.
La'awalamium,
La'awalamium.
Aman.
Aman.
In the English, our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come.
thy will be done
Thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us our debts
Forgive us our debt
as we forgive our
as
debtors.
we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into
And
temptation,
lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the
and
kingdom
the power,
and the power
and the glory,
and the glory
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
The Akak, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem Yahushai,
Bashem Yahushai,
Babu Kushai,
Babu Kushah,
Nathanawa,
Nathanawa,
Hakak,
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 Larapa'ah,
Larapa'ah,
Call Maka'ala,
Kal Maka'ala,
Wakal Madawa,
Kal Madawa,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Latahar,
Latahar,
Amatazariah,
Amatazariah,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Lakwayam,
Lahakwayam,
Hamathium,
Hamathiam,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Arakawa,
Arakawa,
Atama'ala,
Hatama'al,
Lagarshan,
Nagarshan,
Bashem Yahushai,
Bashem Yahushai,
Tawadaman.
Tawadaman.
In the English, the power. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahushai,
in the name of Yahushai,
please give us the power.
please give us the power
To heal all manner of sickness
the power to heal all manner of sickness
and all manner of disease.
and all manner of disease,
The power to cleanse the
the
lepers.
power to cleanse the leper,
The power to raise the
the
dead.
power to raise the dead,
The power against unclean
the
spirits.
power against unclean spirits,
To cast them out.
to cast them
In
out.
the name of
In the
Yahushai.
name of Yahushai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Psalms the 121st chapter in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahaharya,
Ahaharya,
Ma'ayan,
Ma'ayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Izarya,
Isaiah,
Izarya,
Isaiah,
Ma'ain,
Ma'ain,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
Wa'arataza,
Wa'aratazah,
Al Yathan,
Al Yathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Regalka,
Regalka,
Al Yanawam,
Al Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shawamar,
Shawamar,
Yasha Allah,
Yasha'al,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al Yad,
Al Yad,
Yamyanka,
Yamyaka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayarak,
Balayala,
Bagayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makalrai,
Makalrai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athnapashka,
Atnapaska,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'aska,
Wabah,
Wabak,
Wa'aka,
Wa'aka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
I will learn.
I will learn.
Psalms the 121st chapter in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the
I
hills.
will lift up mine eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh,
My help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Yasha Allah
he that keepeth Yasha'al
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in,
and thy coming in.
from this time forth
From this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
We're going to read Psalms the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Allahayo,
Allahayah,
Aldama Yalaka,
Aldama Yalaka,
Al Thakarash,
Al Thakarash,
Wa Al Tashakwat,
Al Thashakwat,
Al
Al
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awa Yabika,
Awa Yabyaka,
Yahamaya 1,
Yahamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al Amaka,
Al Amuka,
Ya'ara Yamwa,
Ya'irayamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Ya'aitazawa,
Ya'itazaw,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakakidam,
Wanakakidam,
Magauya,
Magalya,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Iwada,
Iwada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawaitazawa,
Nawaitazaw,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakadwa,
Auyaka,
Alyaka,
Barya,
Barya,
Yakar Athwa,
Yakar Aswa,
Ahauya,
Ahalya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashamai Aliyam,
Wayashama Aliyah,
Mawa Abba,
Mawa Abba,
Wahagarya,
Wahagari,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'ima 1,
Wa'ima 1,
Wa'ima
Wa'ima La,
Palasha,
Palasa,
I'm Yeshabya,
I'm Yeshabya,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Gamashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Zarwai,
Sarwai,
Labanya Lawat,
Labanya Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Ashalaham,
Ashalaham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadya,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayabyan, Yabyan,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwa Yashwan,
Yashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nasamadwa,
Ba'ai, Slaki, Ba'ayan,
Ba'ayan,
Da'ara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La Adama,
La Adama,
Shayathamwa,
Sayathamwa,
Neda,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yabmawa,
Kairab,
Kairab,
Wakaza Abba,
Wakazaala,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakazazal,
Wakazazal,
Mana'ai,
Wanai,
Call,
Call,
Nasaya,
Nasaya,
Kamwa,
Kamwa,
Ashar,
Asar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Leorasha,
Nayarasa,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Na'awath,
Nawa,
Allahayim,
Allahaya,
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 Shayathamwa,
Sayathamwa,
Kagogala,
Kagogala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rakab,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Thaba Ira,
Taba Ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wakala Haba,
Wakala Haba,
Thalahat,
Talaha,
Harayam,
Haryam,
Khan,
Kun,
Thuradakma,
Taradatma,
Masa Irika,
Masa Irika,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapafka,
Wapafka,
Thabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'ah,
Mala'a,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kola One,
Kola One,
Waya,
Waya,
Bakwashwa,
Bakwaswa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabaswa,
Waya,
Waya,
Bahawa,
Bahawa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Waya,
Waya,
Kaparwa,
Kaparwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abadwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Da'aiwa,
Ya'aiwa,
Kayatha,
Kayatha,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al Yawan,
Al Yawan,
Al Kal,
Al Call,
Ha'arat.
Ha'aratiza.
Psalms the 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
And be not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden one.
and consulted against thy hidden one.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
that the name of Yasha'Allah
that the name of Yasharallah
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee,
the tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the
and
Ishmaelites,
the Ishmaelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah,
Salah.
do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of
at
Kisan,
the brook of Kisan,
which perished that endured.
which perished that endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a ram,
Make their nobles like a red,
and like
and
Ze'er,
like Ze'eb.
yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah,
all their princes as Zabah,
and as Amunah,
and as Amunah,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of
the
Yahweh
houses of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the stumble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that nitzlakin, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh.
that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish,
that men may know that thou,
that men may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
are
over
the
all
most
the earth.
high over all the earth.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Yahweh Shai,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Mayaka Allah,
wa Allahayah,
wa Allahayah,
Matazab Ya'ah,
wa Tazab Ya'ah,
Allah Wap Yahana,
Allah Wap Yahana,
Ha Allah Wap Yah,
Ha Allah Wap Yah,
Ha Saranyo,
Ha Saranyo,
Hakwatazayanyo,
Ha Kwatazayanyo,
Ha Kaya Yoyo,
Ha Kaya Yoyo,
wa Ha Agwati,
wa Ha Akwati,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem Yahweh Shai,
Basim Yahweh Shai,
the water Aman.
the water Aman.
In the English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angel,
commanding General Yohanan,
commanding General Yohanan,
the generals,
the general,
the captains,
the captain,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh Shai.
in the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sisters can be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to give each other a courtesy salute. Salute out this service. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Barakathon. Sorry towards the sisters, Amajim. We're going to give the sisters a courtesy salute as well. For this high holy day, Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Shema Alathon Bashem Yahweh Shai. Yajim Matzah.